Hey everyone, welcome to our presentation on Inkscape. Inkscape is a free and open source software that allows for the creation and editing of vectored SVG graphics, helping artists and professional designers such as technical writers freely express themselves. As you can see below, Inkscape gives you the ability to create scalable images without loss of quality. This means you can create an image that will look great on something as small as a business card or as big as a billboard. When you use vector imaging, the lines remain smooth no matter how much you scale the image. Today, we'll run through an exercise in Inkscape regarding a recent real-life scenario. Livingstone's church in Longview, Texas needs a new logo. Their pastor has asked for something clean and minimal that could be used on posters, window decals, and signage. By the end of this video, we'll have put together this logo for Livingstone's church. So, here we are inside of Inkscape with a preview of what we'll make today. First, we need to select the polygon tool from the left side of our window. After clicking on the tool, a new toolbar will appear across the top of the screen. Ensure the pentagon is selected and you have 6 corners for your polygon to create a hexagon. On your artboard, hold Ctrl as you click and drag the mouse downward. Now choose the Select tool on the tool panel. Doing so will bring up another new toolbar across the top of your window. Here we can adjust the dimensions to a precise value. Click on the lock in the middle to lock your object's proportions. Now when we change the width of the hexagon to 500 pixels, the height will adjust automatically and proportionally. But you'll note we need a taller hexagon. We don't want to stretch it upwards with the handles around the object. That will change the angles of our hexagon's corners. Instead, select the marquee tool from the tool panel and click and drag to create a rectangle of any size. Then return to the selection tool and adjust the rectangle's height to 750 pixels. We'll use this rectangle as a basic reference as we shift the bottom 3 nodes of this hexagon downwards to meet the bottom of the rectangle. So align the hexagon across the top in order to prepare for the next step. To bring these 3 corners downward to meet the bottom of the rectangle, we need to use the Node Selection tool. But as we reselect the object, we'll notice that there are no nodes available for us to manipulate. As you can see, when I try and click and drag on this corner, nothing happens. To edit these corners, return to the Selection tool and navigate to Path, Object to Path. We can also accomplish this by pressing Shift-Control-C. By returning to the Node tool, you'll see that nodes have appeared on each corner of our hexagon. Hold Shift while selecting the 3 bottom nodes. Then hold Control and drag these nodes downwards so the bottom of our hexagon meets the bottom of the rectangle. This isn't super precise, but it's close enough for what we can do here in Inkscape. Well, that's not perfect, but it's about as close as possible, which is just fine for now. We can move this rectangle out of the way for now until we need it later on. Now copy and paste this hexagon off to the side by pressing Ctrl-C, then Ctrl-V. Then return to the dimensions bar and change the height of this second hexagon to 690 pixels with proportions locked. Let's go ahead and change this hexagon's color at the bottom of your window here in the color toolbar. This way we get a nice preview of our logo's border. Then select both hexagons by clicking and dragging around both shapes entirely. To ensure they are centered properly, pull up the Align and Distribute panel by pressing Shift-Control-A. Here we can align objects precisely, ensuring these 2 hexagons are centered exactly. But can you see the design issue here? The border on the sides of our hexagon are thinner than those on the bottom edges. To fix this, use the Node tool again, selecting the top 3 nodes of our inner hexagon. Then nudge these nodes upwards by pressing the up arrow key 4 times on your keyboard. Repeat this with the bottom 3 nodes as well. This isn't precise, but the border looks pretty close to even on all 6 sides. Although it may look like we have our hexagonal border created, we want this logo to be made of one singular shape. To turn these hexagons into one hexagonal border, return to the navigation menu and choose Path Difference. You'll see there are several other options for combining and manipulating objects in this menu. But for now, just select Difference to create the negative space we'll need in our border. Now we have one border-like shape And as you'll know, I cannot select the middle hexagon because there's nothing there. Instead, when clicking the outer hexagon, we see the shape is just a border with its 12 nodes. So we're all done here. Next, we need to create the trunk of the tree. Use the selection tool to pull this rectangle down into view. Return to the dimensions bar and unlock the proportions. Change the width of the rectangle to 18 pixels and the height to 600 pixels. After you type this in, copy and paste this rectangle 4 more times. Drag one rectangle off to the side and select all 4 of the pasted rectangles. Return to the Align panel to distribute these horizontally, evenly across their center points. You see how that works? Then let's place the trunk near the bottom of our border, this sort of tree trunk here. We'll perfect the alignment later. Change the dimensions of each of these rectangles with proportions unlocked, beginning with the leftmost rectangle, making each shorter than the last. The first will have a height of 200 pixels, the second of 150, third of 100, and fourth 50. So we'll have this sort of cell signal set of rectangles here. Once that's done, select the rectangles and bring up the Transform dialog box by pressing Shift-Control-M, then choose the Rotate tab. We'll give this a rotating value of 120 degrees so they align with the bottom of our hexagon, ready to be placed as branches across the trunk rectangle. Click Apply and drag them over to our trunk so the bottom branch rests a good distance away from the bottom of our border. Then drag this top branch upwards until it looks good to you. Again, precision isn't necessary here. Select all 4 branches by holding Shift and clicking on each one. Then return to the Align panel to distribute these branches vertically across their center points. These middle branches will distribute upwards so each branch is spaced equidistantly, but we need to align them across their left sides. So again, return to the Align panel and click on the left Align button. Next, group these objects together with all the branches selected by pressing Ctrl-G, so they move as one singular shape. Now copy and paste these branches, that works. Then mirror this new set of branches across its left side by navigating to Object, Flip Horizontal, or press the H key. Once that's done, take these mirrored branches and place them across the trunk. We don't want one to be higher, so select both sets of branches and return to the Align box and choose Bottom Align. Now let's group these together again, these 2 sets of branches, by pressing Ctrl-G. Select the trunk and branches and choose Center Align, again in the Align dialog box. Group these 2 objects together so that the tree is one object. Finally, align the border's center with the tree's center and group both shapes just as we did before. And there you have it. We've created a new logo for Livingstone's Church. Thanks for watching.